What up, though? And welcome to the Boss Up Ball Out podcast, your trusted source and home for organic debate about Detroit Lions news and rumors. It's your man, Kurt Steele. On today's show, we tell you who we think bossed up versus the Steelers and who got balled on. Do us a quick favor. Like the video, share the video, and comment on the video, man. If you enjoyed this content, man, subscribe to the channel. We are on our way to 2,000 subscribers, and we are currently at 1798. Now it's time to bring in my co-host, man. First up, he's our defensive line coach and executive chef. It's who?
It's the Wolverine, Coach Mike Jones. What's going on, Lion fans?
Man, y'all know who it is. Yaktown, don't back down, because my man LL Cool Torn says so. What's going on, my dude?
It was a shout out to Sean Preston, y'all. Happy Monday.
All right, so let me tell you how the show works. If you don't know, and you're new to the channel, check it out, man. What we do here is we look at Detroit Lions news, headlines, or takes. If we agree, we say they are bossed up. If we disagree, we say they are balled on, man. No hot takes here. We tell you how we feel and our genuine opinion of what's going on with the team. But before we get into today's topics, I want to get a quick reaction from my guys on the panel. DJ Reader passing his physical and being activated from the PUP list. I want to see what you guys had to say. Let me tell you what I think right now. I don't believe he plays versus the Rams, but he will play within the first 3 games of the season. And the reason why I say this, I read something from Justin Rogers. He said the move will keep him available early, and it keeps him from missing the first 6 games of the season, because if he stayed on the PUP list going into the season, he would have to miss the first 6 games. But I think that he is still going to miss the Rams game. He might play in those, I will say maybe game 3. But let me know what you guys think about him getting activated from the PUP list.
I hope, and I'm just going to wish it into fruition, that DJ Reader plays a limited amount of snaps against the Rams. When you pass that, when they activate you off a PUP, that means you're close to being ready. And being that defensive tackle, that one technique, you don't have to really be in the greatest of shape to to get a couple of reps there. You can, hold the fort down for maybe every other drive, you know what I'm saying? So you get your wind right, so you get your strength underneath you, man. And man, please, sweet Jesus. I just hope that man is ready, man. And I mean, if he's not, and we don't want to rush him and then, and have any setbacks. But man, the fact that they activated him, it has me optimistic that DJ Reader might be there for week 1. It might play, he might play like 20 snaps in total. But just come on, man. Shit.
What you got, Ella?
Well, I like it, man. We knew. Well, I kind of figured he, might miss a game or 2 or have many to begin the season. But like you said, Kurt, I like that plan. Or Coach Mike, he might sit the first couple games or something like that. Even if he don't, that'll help, because Big Broderick went down on Saturday, even though they don't necessarily think it's going to be serious or anything like that. But yeah, that'll definitely help.
All right, definitely. And one of the reasons I say again about Reader is that he did have his knee scoped, clean some scar tissue out back in June. So hopefully I'm not saying that I'm saying 100% sure that he's not going to be there on week 1. I'm just saying it keeps him off of that active, the PUP list going to the season.
Right.
Because, if you go into the season on any injury list, you're going to miss the first 6 games. And I think the Lions want to make sure they have him for maybe game 2 or game 3. But like you said, Coach Mike, talking to fruition, you may get that dude in game 1 versus the Rams. Hopefully so. All right, let's get into the topics for today. Who bossed up and who got balled on the offense versus the Pittsburgh Steelers during that preseason game, or do the same thing on defense, and who's in and who's out. Man, who popped that roster bubble and gonna make this team, man, or who was on the outskirts. But of course, we have to talk about the offense first. Who's up today first, man? It is my man, Coach Mike Jones, is up on the offense, man. What you got?
So I just want to say that Jake Fromm from State Farm, man, man. Hey, I know y'all seen it. I actually had to go back and watch the highlights. I did not actually watch the game, but I watched the recap. It was about 17 minutes long, and I watched it about 3 or 4 times. And what I seen from that is Jake Fromm looked good. He's standing tall in the pocket. He delivered on time. 1, 2, 3 step throw. His accuracy was there. His delivery was there. He had command of the offense. He moved the chains. And the Lions, you could tell the Lions aren't all the way satisfied with either Hendon Hooker or Nate Sudfeld because Fromm had threw the ball under 2 minutes. But the Lions was up by 3, or I forgot how many points they was up by, and he was still throwing the ball. And normally they would take a knee or something like that at that point in time, but he was still throwing. He was accurate. Um, that boy was accurate, man. He was making Calhoun look like a stud out there. Um, but you know what? He stood tall in that pocket, man, and he didn't look flustered. I didn't hear no pantings of breath from Jake Fry. It wasn't none of that from him. He was back. He's dropped back like, and and it looked crisp too. So Nate Sudfeld, better look out, buddy. And then Isaiah Williams, I mean, we can just put it to rest. Like, will he, man? What that boy gonna make the team, man? He's gonna make the team, man. Even though he's not the prototypical size that they want, maybe they'll find that guy on IR. Maybe DPJ is showing something in practice that we don't know about. You know what I'm saying? But Isaiah Williams is locked in, man. He made plays every single game, like every game. Yeah, every game. He made plays every game. He's getting separation. I mean, and he's showing why he was a second leading receiver in the Big Ten last year because he's that good. I mean, that guy is good. And just speaking on that, man, what a real DPJ. Please stand up because I don't know where the hell he been. Maybe they keeping him under wraps in practice. Maybe they I don't know what it is, man. But Diamond Peoples Jones is kind of making me mad. I ain't gonna lie. Like if I see him in the street, I would probably check him. You know what I'm saying? That's just me because my hopes was I was gonna get 2 Wolf Lions on this team, and I was gonna maybe send him a shirt or something like that. But you ain't get no goddamn shirt, man, because you ain't playing right, man. And I'm not seeing it. And I want to see it, and he's my I feel like that's my broham. He's a Michigan Wolverine, and I'm like, man, if you don't, man, you did all that in Cleveland, now you can't do nothing, man. Like, come on, man, no, really. But Nine Peoples Jones, I think if the Lions keep him, but if they don't, then they must want to sign somebody. And I've been hearing that Robert Woods rumor. I've been hearing some Noah Brown things here and there. So I don't know, man. But DPJ, man, we're going to have to talk, man. I'm going to have to get you right, bro. I'm going to have to, pull you to the side and,
All right. Yeah, man. All right, I'm going to say they're bossed up, man. I like all your takes on this one, man. Jake Fromm was out there dealing. You know what I'm saying? He was going through his progressions and making the proper reads down the field. He only had 2 incompletions and had a passer rating of 110. His performance, it was short, but as far as passing for the backups concerned, I think it was the best out of all 3 backups. That was the best passing performance of all the backup quarterbacks this preseason. All right, Williams, man, what can we say about Isaiah, man? He's making me want another Isaiah in Detroit because I always, my favorite Isaiah in Detroit is Zeke. Yeah, I know who that is. You know what I'm saying? If you don't know who Zeke is, man, you might Google it. All right, Williams continued his strong play on offense and special teams. And he even got DPJ lined up correctly on a play. What is that about? All I can say about this young man, I mean, it'd be a crime to keep him off the roster right now. I just think he deserves a roster spot. Yeah. And I'm not understanding the poor performances by DPJ in the preseason. I just not. It's just mind-boggling for me. And he's had some good practices with Goff, but he didn't show up in the game, and he bought on himself. I mean, having to have a rookie undrafted free agent line you up, make sure you get in the right spot for a play in a preseason game. That's saying a lot about what you got going on right now, man. DPJ is just disappointing to me right now. What you got, LL?
Yeah, I'm gonna say those is balled up takes. I don't really care about Jake Fromm. No, this is preseason. He played the last little bit of the game, so whatever. Take from that whatever you will. I of course I agree with Isaiah Williams, man, and I like what you said. He deserves a spot on this roster. I don't even do the whole deserve thing because that can get a little tricky sometimes. But yeah, I believe that he should make this roster. And what was your DPE? I don't get it. I don't understand. That's all I've heard was just questions about DPJ, like what's going on, why isn't he stepping up? Like I guess some people think that he should have had, or maybe even the organization thinks that he should have had. But I don't know. I guess we'll see what's going on with that on cut day.
You know what? I hate to kind of bring this up because God rest his soul, but maybe DPJ is having that Charles Rogers kind of
Yeah.
thing. Come back home and you kind of like living it up a little bit too much, man, and you not really got your mind on what need to be on. I'm not saying that's what is going on, but maybe that might got a little something to do with it.
Yeah, it's very hard to play where you're from. I think to me, in professional sports, the only player that ever really had success as far as professionally where they came from and didn't let outside distractions affect their career was LeBron James. That's it. I haven't seen like, you know, Charles Rogers, man, those demons, he had his own demons, but you get those people, you go back home and you get those people that hang on, the hanger oners that, and they just want to, use you up and you want to go back to doing what you did before you got in the league and got your success. So I don't think that's the case. I hope that's not the case, but that's a good point though, Coach Jones. Man, hey, like the video, share the video, and comment on the video, man. All of these things help us get this content to more Detroit Lions fans just like yourself, and it helps us with that YouTube algorithm. And that thing is a beast some days. All right.
Yeah.
Now it's time to switch over to the defense, my man. LL, what you got, brother?
Man, who bossed up and who got balled on defense. A couple of players that I would like to mention, defensive linemen or edges, defensive ends, whatever you want to call them, but Isaac Uku and that problem, James Houston. Don't really know what this means for James Houston, but in this game he had a sack, and him and Uku was in on that strip sack, so that was nice to see. Just for me, it was just nice to see James Houston finally pop off. So you got to see him. You got to see that quick get off a little bit during this game. So that's what we like to see from him. Some lesser known people maybe, but I've been hearing I've been hearing both of these names, but in this game in particular, linebackers Ty Summers, and I'm not even going to try to pronounce that other gentleman's last name. Joe I is what I'm going to call him. Ty Summers ended up with 9 total tackles and a sack and a half. And what's the other? And Joe had the other half of that sack. He had a 0.5 of a tackle, but he just was all over the place. Both of them, Ty Summers. It was just looking real good. Of course, in the preseason, I don't know what this means as far as a roster spot or anything like that, but they look good in this game. As far as who got balled on, I don't really want to say it like that because I feel like that's super duper negative, of course. But I'm gonna say Stephon Gilmore. It was one. He's Stephen, right? Not
Stephen Gilmore. Yeah, Stephen.
Of course, right. But I don't want to say he got balled on, but every time it was a play, like every time, it was a lot of times when it was a catch, like it was on him. Like it seemed like they was picking on him a little, like they was targeting him. So I was like, dang, man. So I'm gonna say he got balled on. And Jake Bates, man, he missed a couple out there, but I don't think that matters for him as far as roster spot either. But he went out there, he missed a couple, especially after last week with with everybody ringing his praises after that late game kick, and all of that stuff. So those are mine, bossed up and balled on and all that stuff. What do you guys think about that?
All right, so for me, I'm gonna give you the boss. I'm gonna give you bossed up on 2 of your 3, man. Akuru continued to make his case to make the roster because James Houston, and he was up to his old tricks, getting pressured, getting that sack. He looked a little step slower. You still think he's working back into their lineup, but I think he'll be fine. He's doing his thing. Summers reminded me of a young Chris Billman, the way he was out there all over the field versus the Steelers, man, and that cowboy collar, that
Right.
little harness thing. I'm like, okay, yeah, okay. He led the team in tackles, and sacks because he had the most sacks for 1.5. I don't think he makes the roster, but I think he will catch on somewhere because of this game. And Joel, like you said, I ain't finna mess that dude last name up. He was good for this game. He was only been signed for, but this is the second weekend on the team. Yeah, I mean, he can make the practice squad, but I think his time in Detroit is over, but it's good for the practice thing. Now, here's the thing about Jake Bates, and I don't think he was balled on. I understand he missed that short field goal, but remember last week he missed the extra point, but he made all his field goals. And this week he missed a field goal, one field goal, made another one, and made all his extra points. And people were complaining about the kickoff thing, right? I believe that Dave Fitt was having him try some different kickoff techniques that led to those penalties. Because you look at the other games, he didn't have a problem at all kicking the ball off in this new dynamic kickoff. So I think that I believe that Dave Fitt was having them try some things out, and that's what led to those penalties. But overall, yeah, I agree with you. Those guys for a preseason game definitely stepped up and they bossed up. And Stephen Gilmore, man, he is not his brother. And he definitely got balled on because they were picking on that brother. It was picking on little brother. That it was like, man, because think about it. I'll say this, and I'll let you go, Coach Jones. The two longest plays, touchdowns, one versus the Chiefs and one versus the Steelers, were both on Stephen Gilmore. Just bombing it down the field. He was just looking like, oh Lord, like Val used to say, baby, the blind ballerinas in the backfield. It was terrible, man. What you got, Coach Jones?
Yeah, he's definitely not Stephon Gilmore's brother. He's his mama's son. Yeah, because that boy, yeah, man, I don't know, man. But you know what? I'm gonna say they bossed up takes. I got Isaac Uku making the team, man. He just does too much. Like you can't keep a guy off the roster that does that much. So I got him and James Houston making the squad because I just don't think you can afford to cut a guy like Houston who just has sacks like that. Like you can't do that. Now maybe if he's a trade piece, maybe you can get a little something for him. Then yeah, but yeah, man, you can't do that. Ty Summers, man, and that one dude, I'm not gonna mess his name up either. But you know what? I think they will actually. I think maybe we'll keep one of them. I think both of them are trying out for the teams because as Dan Campbell said before, man, he likes to let guys play that are gonna go somewhere else and just give them the opportunity to try out for somebody else, man. Because he's not a guy where like I don't want nobody else to see nobody, and I want them to leave and go play for nobody. Like he wants all these guys to succeed in life. So I believe those are trials for other teams, man. Yeah, man. But Steven, I don't, man. You ain't listening to your brother. You're not listening to your brother at all, because I don't know, maybe you a zone corner too. That might be, because a lot of people try to mix man and zone, and some guys can play man and zone. Some guys are just zone, some guys are just man, and I think he's a zone, man. I think, yeah, he's probably just the zone guy. So
Yeah, he played because if you look at last preseason when we had the interception, they were playing a lot of zone, and that's not what they want to do in this defense this year. They want to play man. They drafted a lot of man guys, 2-man guys out of college, and then they signed 2 guys that played man in their other stops. So I get what you're saying. Hey, like the video and share the video and comment on the video, man. All of these things help us get this content to more Lions fans just like yourself, man. We appreciate you guys right here, and we do this, guys, for you, man. Waking up old dark 30 to get this content out to you on right here on the Boss Up Ball Out podcast. All right, last topic for the day. Who's in, who's out? Here is my roster bubble predictions on offense. Who's in? Of course, we talked about this fella earlier. Isaiah Williams, man. You can't keep that dude off. You can't keep that dude off the team, man. Yeah, he just makes that 53-man roster. And the other guy I think is Zane Silstra. Man, he we talked about Williams, man. You know he outworked everyone else on the depth chart, man. Regardless of his size, that roster spot should be his. But for Zylstra, he became a reliable target for those backup quarterbacks, and he can be that big body pass catcher in the red zone. And who's out for me? Got to be James Mitchell, man. He just played terrible in the preseason this year. I expected more from him. You know, looking at where he has been on the roster for the last couple of years, I just expected more from him. And with DPJ and Darius Fountain, man, they were inconsistent during the preseason games. They stacked some good practices, but here's the deal: preseason or not, man, when the lights came on, they just didn't step up. And for that reason, I don't think that they broke the roster bubble for me. And I was in in Charlotte a couple of years ago when Zane Struzzer just went off down there. I know we lost the game, but I think he had like 2 or 3 touchdowns in that game. So Zylstra's a good pass catcher. So he brings an element that's as far as because you know we've got Brock Wright. Brock Wright is a more of a blocking tight end. He can catch. We know what Laporta is at tight end, and he can do everything. But Zylstra gives you that pass catching tight end. He's purely more likely a pass catcher, and we don't have that. And he can play that big body down there in the red zone and make some catches. So that's why I got him on and not James Mitchell. All right, on defense, man, James Houston did his thing. Once he's healthy enough to play, because he was healthy enough to play in the preseason game, had that nice sack and could have had another one. There was a holding call that they missed on him. He got past the lineman and the guy grabbed him. And I'm like, where's the flag? But it's preseason for the refs too. And when AG said that they were done trying him to make him a Sam linebacker, I felt his spot was on the roster was safe for now. They just want him to go out and do his thing. And if you go back to his Jackson State days, they tried him at Sam down there, and they made him a pass rusher, and that's why he stood out in his last year at Jackson State because they saw the pass rushing techniques he had, and that's why the Lions drafted him. So why would you go against that? Brandon Joseph, that's my guy. He's another guy I think that's in. He was on the bubble starting because remember he was on the practice squad last year. But I think he played well in all 3 preseason games. I think he earned that 4th safety spot, and it wasn't even close. And Joseph may see some snaps early on in the season because right now, if he is out for the foreseeable future with an injury, Dan Campbell said in his presser, they don't know when they're going to get him back. If he has to go on an injury list, you're going to miss him Iffy for the first 6 games of the season, and that's what's trending right now. Reports coming out of the My Performance Center at Allen Park. All right, so out for me, definitely Matthew Betts. He was outshined by Uku. He was, man. I mean, Uku had a sack in every preseason game. Betts flashed. He had his best game was against the Chiefs, but he didn't do enough for me to make this roster. So his bubble did not pop. And Stephen Gilmore, he is not his big brother. The young fella was getting cooked, man. Cook. I mean, he was toast. I mean, woo, brother. I mean, I hate it for you, man. You need to go back on the practice squad. That's it. Because that for me, the bubble for these 2 guys on defense, it wasn't even close to bursting on these 2 guys. And then for the special teams, man, Jake Bates has earned the trust of the coaching staff despite some of the struggles he's had in preseason. However, he bounced back and made some good kicks. And here's the telling fact: the Lions still haven't brought anybody for competition. He's just it. He's the kicker right now. So for long snapper, I think Hatton, and of course the reports that Hatton has been better in punt coverage than Scott Daly. So he gets that nod for me as far as bursting that bubble and making the roster. On special teams, the other guy that I think that ain't gonna make it, CJ Moore. Now, he hasn't shown much this on defense or special teams this preseason. I think the year off maybe cost him his roster spot. You think about it, man. He was a good special teamers back in 2022, out there making plays, making passes, catching passes. I mean, he did everything on special teams. And then he got that suspension for gambling. I don't think that a year off cost him. It just did. I don't think he's not the same player that he was back in 2022. And then Scott Daly, uh, he's still good now because long snappers is you ain't doing a lot, but the little things matter. And then like I said, the hadn't outworked him on the punting coverage, but uh, I won't say that the roster bubble has burst completely for Scott Daly because he's the incumbent and they usually get the advantage, especially on the coaching staff like the one we have, where they like the guys that they like, and you usually stay on if that's possible. But those are my guys who I think are roster bubble locks and the guys that are roster bubble knots.
Mhm.
So, what do you guys think about some of these guys on the bubble? I'll go to you first, Coach Jones. What you got?
You know what? I think that DPJ is in. I just unless we sign somebody else, he's in by default. Uh, yeah, man, he's in. And you know what? Scott Daly, I think his job is safe because that's the Mule's man's right there. Don Muleback, that's his guy, and I think even though Haddon has played pretty good, I think you know how long Mule played. He played for like 17 years, I think, something like that. So yeah, man, I think that's his guy. I think he's gonna make the team. But other than that, man, I agree with you on all those takes, man. But I'm just still holding out hopes that the Wolverine returns to some type of form, man. And DPJ does something, man. Because if he don't, I'm gonna be at his house because he don't want to see me in these streets.
What you got, LL?
Just saying.
That's crazy. He didn't make it and he gotta get beat up. That's that's
You
crazy.
get punished.
Right.
Getting something. He getting something.
But no, I agree with all of these, Kurt. So I'm gonna say these is bossed up. The only one I wish things were different for Fountain. I was hearing so many positive things about him. And for Betts, I think he might, and I'm making it like I think a few of these guys will end up making a practice squad. Let me say that we talked about in all of these segments. But I think Betts might make the practice squad or something like that. I didn't think he was god awful because he same thing, like they kind of ended the experiment on him at linebacker as well. So I don't know. He may not make the initial 53, but at least I hope they bring him back on the practice squad.
All right, that's our show for today, folks, man. Thank you for taking us out right here on the Boss Up Ball Out podcast, your trusted source and home for organic debate about Detroit Lions news and rumors. Now it is time for parting shots, but before we do that, man, make sure you follow the crew on your favorite social media platforms, man. Definitely go check out my man Wolverine Lion over there on his YouTube channel. He has some great shorts over there. He does his thing, man. Some good takes over there. And of course, y'all know who it is, man, over there on Instagram. Go check out my man LL Cool Torrance, man, because he keep it thirsty on a Thursday. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's time for party shots, man. LL2 Cool Torrance, what you got for today, man?
Yeah, too cool, Torrance. That's
Mm-hmm.
a new one. But happy Monday, everybody. Have a great week. Hopefully, we don't have as much overtime. Well, I shouldn't say that, but hopefully, no more as much mandatory overtime this week. Mm-hmm.
All right, what you got, Coach?
Yeah, I can't stand that. You know what? It's game week. Yes, with high school football season starts off this week. Unfortunately, we play on Thursday because it's Memorial Day or Labor Day weekend. So we'll be playing Thursday night. We at Tecumseh. We gonna see what it is, man. It's time, man. I'm confident, and we trying to win that I-8 this year, man. I-8 championship coming to a school near you.
All right, and congratulations to Over Hills High School. That's the local high school next to my house. Some high school my son went to, man. They won their first game this weekend. High school football started this week in North Carolina on Friday last week. So congratulations to them, and congratulations to a friend of mine. He coaches over at 71st High School, and they got their first win of the season as well. Hey, thank you for starting your week off with us right here on the Boss Up Ball Out podcast. We enjoy everything doing this show for you guys, man. Definitely have a great week, man. And if you are having a good day, man, spread joy. But if you ain't having a good day, Don't steal nobody else's joy. Just don't do that, man. Hey, do me a favor. Whatever you're doing in life, you got to boss up, ball out, and be the best version of you that you can be. From my man, Coach Mike Jones and LL Cool Toys. This is Kurt Steele, and we will holla at you real soon.